Hey, how you doing? Scott here from Scott's Bass Lessons, and today I'm going to give you 3 great exercises to get you starting using hammer-ons on the bass. Now, if you don't know what a hammer-on is, it's when you play one note and get 2. So you play 1 and get 2. But the way you can apply these is in scales and runs and all that kind of stuff, and it just gives you the ability to play a lot faster when you need to. So let's check it out. Okay, so before we get into the 3 exercises for the hammer-ons, I just want to tell you a little bit about this bass. It was donated to us by Overwater Basses over in the Lake District. They're handmade basses in the Lake District in the UK. These are the real deal. They're, in my opinion, in the top percent of handmade basses in the world. And they donated this bass kindly. And when I say handmade basses, I mean, wooden chisels, no CNC machines or anything like that. This is the real deal. So they donated this to scottsbasslessons.com for a cool giveaway. If you want to win this bass, just click the link below this video after you've watched the lesson. Don't go now, don't do it now. After you've watched this lesson, you can win this bass. Click the link below the video and just follow the instructions, and that'll be it. So let's talk about hammer-ons, okay? I use these all the time, seriously. When I'm playing I use them all the time. And if you're not using them yet, it's something that you can do straight away, and it's going to just give you more freedom within your lines and just on the fretboard in general. So I'm going to give you these 3 exercises. The first one, and in fact, for all the exercises, I want us to concentrate on this area of the fingerboard, okay? If you're doing them down here, it's cool to do the exercises down here, but it'll be a bit of a stretch for some people, and I don't want you to injure your hand in any way. So let's concentrate on this area of the fingerboard. And specifically, I'm going to put my index finger on the B of the E string. Let's forget this B string, okay? Let's pretend I'm just playing a 4 string for now. So we're going to start on this B of the E string, and I'm simply going to play one note and then hammer the other note on with my middle finger. So how am I doing that? I'm coming down like a ton of bricks on that C. Again. And then you do the same thing on the string below. The next string. Now this exercise is going to be incredibly hard, especially when we get into it, if your left hand technique or your your fretting hand technique isn't correct. If you've got your knuckles at an angle or your thumbs out of line with your hands or anything like that, this is going to be incredibly hard. So it'll highlight whether, this exercise is a great way to highlight whether your left hand technique is working for you or not. Now, if you want to look at my video on left hand technique, I've done a great video where I give you 2 great tips on how to check whether your left hand technique is up to scratch and how to reprogram it if it isn't. I'll put a link to that below the video as well. And DMAC, the camera dude behind the camera, where he should be, where would a camera dude be? Sort of like over there. Anyway, so DMAC, I'll put a link to it on this screen somewhere as well. So just click the link and it'll take you through to that lesson. It's specifically for fretting hand technique. So let's jump back into this first exercise, okay? So the first exercise is simply, we're just going to go up and down. It's going to sound quite chromatic. That's what we're aiming for, okay? So we play one note, we hammer on the next note. Play one note, hammer on. Next note, hammer on, and again. So all the way down. And again. Now the next hammer-on we're going to do between the middle finger and the ring finger. It's going to be exactly the same. Okay, so that was the first finger. Next finger. That's between the middle and the ring. And then between the ring and the little finger. Now notice when I'm doing this, none of my fingers are sticking out crazily or anything like that. I'm trying to be relaxed, but also have the power that I need to make the note ring out. Again, I'm just plucking one and getting two notes. The hardest one for you to do probably will be between your middle and your ring finger, because the ring finger and the pinky are codependent. When you start using your middle finger and ring finger together, it can feel quite strange, but it's something you will get used to. So again. And upward. You can just move up the neck. All I'm doing is getting to the, and I'm in a pattern of 4, and then I just shift up and start again. Oops. Then again. Okay. Now another cool one is I, A, P, call it. So index to middle, index to ring, index to pinky, okay? And that's our second exercise. So it's going to sound very familiar, quite similar, to the first exercise, but it's just going to be using some different movements. So again, then the next string. Next string, and the next string. And if you are on a 5 string, you can just do this all the way down. As well, you know, you can use all the strings if you want to. Now, and again, you do this up the fretboard. Here's a big warning, okay, and it's the one thing that kind of stands out when I hear students do it. They flam the notes. So instead of, we want it to sound like it's picked, we don't want this. Each note has to have the same length as the previous note, okay, so. And again. Oh. Yeah, and then you can just, you know, play around with it, come up with some different patterns, move around. You can come up with your own versions of this, but it's essentially just coming up with different combinations of these hammer-ons to get our hands and our brain, essentially the motor cortex, used to sending these signals to our hands and getting us used to that movement. I started to flam there. It needs a bit more time in the shed. So that was the first 2 exercises. Again, we had the first exercise. Onwards. Then we had the next exercise. and onwards. Now, I just want to, for the third exercise, I just want you to plug this into a scale. So what we're going to do is play the C major scale right up to the, that's the sixth of the C major scale up there, or the 13th. Okay, I want you to use this specific shape, okay? So C major scale, starting on the C on the E string, fingers 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 4, okay, so 4, 4, you just do a slide there, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 4. When I'm saying these numbers, I'm referring to the fingers I'm using of my left hand. 4, 1, 2, 4, and then another slide to the A on the G string. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, slide, 1, 2, 4, slide. But now we're going to play that line using hammer-ons and slides. So that will sound like this. So essentially, you're just picking when you need to. So you pick the C, you hammer on the D. You pick the E, and you hammer on the rest. So we've got okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 notes from one pick. 1, 2, 3, slide. Again, 1, hammer, hammer, click, hammer, hammer, slide. So let's just get up to that D on the D string. Again, it should sound like the timing of it, not this. We don't want that, we want. Okay, now let's add the top bit into it there, and then, so a pick of the, on the E, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4 fingers, and then a slide with our fourth finger up to that A on the G string. So putting that all together, we've got oops. And that's what you're aiming for. That's the end goal, to be able to play it, you know, really fast and fluid. And again, so slowly. And then you can employ these techniques all over the place. It's how you get them, you know, like guitar players do it. Just like that. So it'll take you a while to get to that point. Remember to check out the left hand positioning lesson as well, because if you are or have any problems with your fretting hand technique, like your thumb, where that's going to be, the thumb position on the back of the neck, or your knuckles in alignment with the fretboard, if that's off at all, this is going to be all three exercises are going to be impossible, or nigh on impossible. But other than that, hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. If you did, click like below. I'll love you forever and send you lots of bass love. Remember, you can win this bass. The link's below this video. Just click it and you'll go through to the page, follow the instructions. Other than that, hopefully you're having a wicked day, wicked week, wicked month. Take it easy, and I will see you in the shed.